Hello there guys, it's Steven here back with another live stream. How are you all doing today? Or your lovely, well, not faces, your comments coming in as ever. How you all doing? Hope you've had a good day. And I'm live now, so Kenu's saying hurry up. I'm live, mate. So there you go. I'm seeing this like 10 seconds before the stream goes live. So there we are. Back with another video. I hope you're enjoying your day. Generally, don't forget you can ask any questions. We're going to talk about the things scrolling across the bottom here, but this is your video to an extent. I'm doing these live streams quite regularly, so if you do enjoy them, do let me know if you want to see these things more regularly. And if you do, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and see the numbers go up there. So hello to Levi there, hello to Rap joining in, hello to Joshi, hello to Assad, Jack. I'm not saying that out loud, Jack. Hello to Adam. Hello to everyone else coming through. I hope you're all good. In general, is my sound coming through all right? It seems to be coming through totally fine. Don't worry about it. Anyway, today, as you can see from the title of the video, we're going to talk about a few things in particular. Lewis says he can't wait for Spider-Man tomorrow. We'll talk about it later. We're going to talk about Frenkie De Jong, obviously potentially signing for Manchester City. Brahim Diaz, I discussed it in last night's video. And also a little bit about the new signing, Gavin Bazunu, the young keeper that we've got from over in Ireland, only 16 years old. So we're going to talk about all those things and everything else that comes up. Malcolm is enjoying these live streams recently. Thank you very much. Hello to Ollie. Hello to Michael. Hello to Taif and Jack and everyone else coming in to see this live stream. It's good to have you there, guys. Don't forget as well, you can get your questions and all that kind of stuff, and we can talk about all that kind of stuff. But now I'm going to talk in general about just more the title of this video, Frenkie De Jong. We've been linked to him, and according to some reports today, City do have some rivals for his signature. Now, he's a fantastic player. I'll get some thoughts about Frenkie De Jong out of the way. He's just so good. I would love him at Manchester City because in my personal opinion, he's the archetypal Pep Guardiola kind of player. That wonderful, almost like Cruyff-esque style product. He's that kind of perfect like example of this total football guy who can play basically any single position. He's obviously only young still and he's got a lot to develop. He's 21 years old, but I just really rate him. Now, I don't think it's going to be easy to sign him. I'll put that out there because loads of Europe's very biggest clubs are after him, including Barcelona, who allegedly had an agreement last summer, but that didn't seem to transpire. Barcelona are after him. Spurs apparently coming to the fray. PSG, City, ourselves obviously, Roma and Dortmund all want him. Now, I think the fee would be around 50 million, but not potentially more. But he's just really good. So I would love to see Manchester City. I think in general, he could be the kind of person, could be a long-term replacement for Fernandinho. He's got that ability to kind of step into midfield. He has played a lot of centre-back last season. He started alongside De Ligt quite often there for a very youthful, progressive Ajax team, but he tended to step into midfield perfectly. He always reminds you when he plays in midfield. When he glides through midfield, he has almost like a De Bruyne ability to just drift past people. But he's so comfortable going left or right when he's turning. He has that 360 vision that Guardiola loves from players. And what I like about him is just that versatility, that ability to be exceptionally comfortable as he dribbles through midfield or as he plays those key passes. And he trusts his own physique and his strength. He's not the fastest in the world. I wouldn't say he's lightning quick, but he's definitely got a good turn of pace. He's definitely got a good physicality to him. And he's just so good. He reminds me a little bit of a Dutch, more improved version of that Michael Johnson when he came through. Do you remember that? He reminds me a little bit of that. Obviously, there's more to his game than that. He's more defensive-minded. He just can do basically everything. Now, I don't know if we'll get him or not, but we are definitely watching him because he just suits everything we can do so much. He suits our style of play perfectly. For me, he's my kind of dream signing. I'm not going to lie, I'd love to see Manchester City. I'd love to see him and be the long-term successors to Fernandinho. He's a bit of a centre-back, but also can play as a regista or a number 6. Him there, for me personally, would have that energy, that comfortability, but breaking the lines, passes from deep, off that defensive understanding, and he'd be trained by the best coach in the world football, Pep Guardiola. I would love him at Manchester City. He's just so good. There's a few people saying Ruben Neves is better than De Jong. I don't think he is personally at the moment. Callum saying he loves the vids recently. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much. I don't know if it's out of streams, if it's out of sync. Sorry, maybe it is. I don't know why that is. If it's out of stream a little bit, Man City Fan TV, I don't know how to change that, so I'll work on it anyway. But young Malcolm saying we never sign anyone. Well, this is not actually true, is it? Because we signed one player last season doesn't mean we didn't sign God knows how many this summer before when we signed Bernardo, Walker, Edison. That ain't true. We do sign players. We just try and sign the players that fits our actual world. So it's just how it is, unfortunately. But yeah, he's so good. I would just love him at Manchester City personally. De Ligt obviously we're linked to. Ajax Academy is amazing. It always has been. It's because they play young players over there. So if you've got a good coaching system and you give chances to young players, it just so happens that you'll get some good ones. Mr. Bugger B00 saying, is Julian Weigl the perfect DM for us? He lost some of his hype he had 2 years ago because of a drop in form, but that didn't stop us from signing Laporte. And it didn't stop us signing John Stones either, who had a bad season before we signed him. He could be almost like this Laporte Stones-esque kind of project for number 6. It could be very good for us. We haven't seemed to be interested for a while though. It has gone quiet on that front, so who knows? And maybe we'll be in for him, maybe we won't be, but I just want Frenkie De Jong. There is loads of options too, as Man City Taco said. What about Ndombele or Sergej Milinkovic-Savic? Those both would be absolutely fantastic in my personal opinion. They're both very good players. And Dembele is almost this like complete box-to-box midfielder, loads of energy, just great going this way, that way. Milinkovic-Savic, he's tall, he's elegant, he's got a great touch. I want to see how he do it outside of Serie A, but he definitely has all the abilities. I don't think City would go for him weirdly, in my personal opinion. Malcolm's asking how much would it be for De Jong? I think we're talking 50 million plus personally, but I just like the idea of him personally. I think he's got so much potential. I love the fact that he can do basically anything. It'd be so good. We don't have too many midfielders at all, in my personal opinion. YG, Shaq too, and also he's actually he's more of a holding fielder or a centre back. I think he's a little bit deeper. And given the fact we've only got Fernandinho there really now, that's basically that position is up for grabs really, for being honest. I don't know much about Lyon's Toussaint, unfortunately, Sharks team. I could say, but it would. I don't watch loads of European football, but I do research the players that we're linked to quite heavily. So I've not watched Toussaint more for Lyon because I haven't watched much of Lyon play in general. So I can't comment. But what I do know is that Lyon apparently has a lot of good young players, and he obviously comes in that thing as well. So maybe we should do. Your curtain is clashing with your background graphic. I haven't got a background graphic. It's just it's my wall. Oh yeah, I know what you mean actually. Sorry, in terms of the actual curtain being a pain over there. Sorry about that, mate. Right. Anyway, let's get through a few more comments in there. Sakar saying, can Claudio Gomez play in De Bruyne position? I don't think he can. He's more of a number 6 from what I can see. Now, we all want Claudio Gomez to be the answer now for Fernandinho's successor, but I don't think he actually is. I've watched him play for the EDS quite a bit. I saw him in the friendlies as well during pre-season, and he looks very young and very raw, so I don't think he's quite ready yet. He's got a lot of ability, but he definitely is a young player still, in my personal opinion. I don't think he's close to the first team yet. Having said that, it could be the fact that he didn't play football for several months, and he didn't play a lot of football at all when PSG basically froze him out after he agreed to sign for Manchester City. So that's understandable. So we've got to give him a bit of time to get his profile and his comfortability back up. So it'd be chillish to rule him out, but for now, I don't think he's a long-term thing. Someone said, Chana B said, Sterling injury update. Personally, I don't think there's an injury. I think it's just like that thing that happens when players get, when the international break comes around. He might be a knock, but he's not going to be injured. Not properly injured, in my personal opinion. Craig, I'm good. How's tricks for you, Craig? So, and hi to everyone commenting. Sorry, what I'm trying to do now is a new thing where I try and not look at the comments when I'm answering another comment because I get distracted really easily and then I forget what I'm saying. So I'm trying to answer one comment, give it a focus, and then come back to another. I'm going to talk about the third point that's scrolling across the bottom. We've signed Gavin Bazunu, I think it's pronounced, which is a wonderful name. Bazunu sounds like some kind of betting, not a betting service, like some kind of cash generator service from years ago, like Wong or whatever, Bazunu. But either way, he's a young keeper. He's actually been playing senior football already. He's 16 years old, which is crazy. At 16 years old, I was sat on my arse playing Ocarina of Time in the N64, scratching it, doing absolutely nothing. And Gavin Bazunu here was playing in the League of Ireland and the Europa League qualifiers, and he's already kept 4 consecutive clean sheets this season, and we've agreed a fee for £420,000. Now, that's a lot of money for Shamrock Rovers. They are a small club, and that $500,000 there, that's absolutely loads for them. Obviously, I've not seen him play. None of us probably have seen Gavin Bazunu play, but in general, I kind of trust our scouting front in general with goalkeepers because Muric, in my opinion, is absolutely fantastic. And he'll come in as someone hopefully to try and build a career. Now, if anyone's got a chance, I guess, of ousting Ederson at some point, it probably will be Bazunu, who's only young still. So Ederson will be a lot older when he reaches anywhere near his peak. So I guess he's playing the long game in general, Bazunu. But I don't really know what he's like. But if he is playing football that young, he obviously has the physicality for it. He's obviously must be a bit of a beast physically. And in general, I'm hoping that he gets regular football for the EDS potentially. I'm sure he ever will be. I'm sure he will do in general. And then maybe we'll see him loan out somewhere if he is as good as they say he is. But I'm sure either way we'll give him a career. Give him a career in the game professionally, because going from Shamrock to Manchester City will increase his profile and he'll get maybe like a good loan at some point. He might be better than we realise. Either way, he's a bit of a prodigy. So we'll see in general. We don't know what he's like, do we? So... Paris Bubbles there saying Bazunu is the second biggest sale for Shamrock, so that's huge for them. And it's good though, sometimes it's nice. I mean, I guess maybe a smaller club might have come in for him, but they might not have got as much money to go out of City, so you got to look at it that way. It'll be fine. Esteemed said Gundogan as a number 6 has given him most of his best performances in a City shirt though. That's true, he has indeed. And Sakar saying he lines his study breaks on my live streams. That's really nice, thank you very much, mate. But going back to the Gundogan number 6, he could be an option there though. I'd be surprised if we don't see more of him there this season. He did play there every now and then last season. Did have some games. I agree. Arsenal away springs to mind. Tottenham springs to mind too. Paris Bubbles said Bazunu is 6'1" according to some research. And also what I've noticed in general, according to the internet, heights vary. I've seen some of the young academy players listed as like 5'2" when they're like 15, but obviously they're 17 and they're like 4 inches taller than that. So we don't really know. He's only young still, so he could get bigger, could be smaller. Who knows? That's the internet for you. Ange, hello to you too there, pal. I'm not talking about Mourinho, James, on this. None of that stuff on here. Ronnie says he's watched De Jong and I think he'd be better signing for City than Neves. Ronnie, I'd agree personally. I think he's just got loads of potential. Craig, enough of your naughty questions. City Lad says gutted about Brahim Diaz potentially leaving. Now, let's talk about Brahim for a little bit. Gregory, I'll get back to the channel name thing in a minute, but let's talk about Brahim first. In general, with Brahim Diaz, as I said last night in the video, he might not necessarily leave, and I do know for a genuine fact that he loves being in Manchester. He loves this club. He's very comfortable here. He's even got a bit of a Manc accent. I was only chatting to him briefly. I chatted to him at the side of the pitch when I had the Wembley kind of like access during the Community Shield. He came over and gave me a hug, which was really nice to him because I've been watching games for a long time. So he just kind of recognises me from being that like kind of super nerdy academy football fan watcher from a long time ago. And his dad's chatted to me and stuff. So Brahim, I kind of know his family a little bit. I'll say hello to his dad if I see him. Brahim will say hello if he sees me. I don't know him, of course, but I know a little bit. And I know he is happy here in Manchester. And I know he likes it here. I know his family are comfortable here. And I know he just feels a bit like an adopted Mancunian. And obviously as well, Pep's brother is his agent. So he wants to make it here. But also at the same time, he's only got a few months left in his contract. I know he didn't want to go. Arjun Rayo, thank you very much for the donation, pal. Delay and Frankie, great content as always. Thank you, you're a star. Thank you for the donation there. But back to Brahim there. I know he doesn't want to go, but at the same time, he's 19, he'll be 20 next season. And he's got to start looking after his own future at some point. I think hopefully he needs game time. And it's going to be so hard for him to get game time at Manchester City, given all the players in front of him. And it's not... I think in general... I would have loved to have said maybe not sign Mahrez and give him a go, but at the same time, I don't really blame Pep for taking Mahrez, given the fact that he was available to him. So it's going to be very, very difficult. I don't agree that we're going to ruin Foden if we don't play him yet. I think Foden's okay still. I think he's only just turned 18. He's got a lot of time on his side. Foden physically yet isn't fully ready, and I think Foden will play plenty this season. We're still finding our way into the form. But in general, I think Foden will be alright, but Brahim's is older. He's notably older, so that does make a difference. And he's like a year ahead, where Foden is actually ahead of Brahim despite being a year younger. So Brahim's probably thinking, I need games somewhere. And why would I sign a 5-year contract if I'm going to be loaned out to random clubs? Brahim's not against loans, I don't think. I think he's just against the idea of being stuck on loans forever. Sometimes you'd rather just move on and get your own career going and actually be in control of your own future. And I don't understand that personally. So Brahim, fantastic player. Fingers crossed he actually does. Either he signs and gets chances, or he signs and goes on loan somewhere, or he leaves and develops his career. That would be... I just want... what's best for him. Someone said, John Noonan said, it's Shamrock Rovers, Steve. Yeah, I know it is. It's just I couldn't fit it in the bar at the bottom. So, you know, the scrolling bar at the bottom, I didn't have enough space for the little kind of template I'd made. So I just kind of put Shamrock. Hope that's all right. Apologies. We're not going to sell Sane DY Gaming, so I'm not even going to warrant that because it'd be over 150 million in my personal opinion. But yeah, that's where I stand on Brahim. You obviously seen what I thought about Gavin Bazunu and the Frenkie De Jong stuff. Frenkie De Jong for me would be absolutely huge. I think he's a fantastic player and potentially one of the biggest stars in world football in the future. Answered, where's Nicola? Nicola's she's just doing some work in another room next door, so she's just busy, I guess.
Interesting, the City's A-list squad for Champions League did not have Muric but Grimshaw instead. It's because Muric is, I think Grimshaw's there because they needed another homegrown player to register in the squad, and Muric isn't homegrown, so you have to be there just to fill up the rules of the squad. That's why he's there, and that's why he isn't. Is Muric not on the B list? It doesn't really matter as long as they're on our list and in general. But cheers for the updates. No worries, Tony. Prem Rajshed from Wisconsin. Thanks for joining in. This year we look very different than last year. Is this Pep's way of experimenting? I think we look very different from last year just simply because of the World Cup, and simply because De Bruyne is injured, simply because we've got a new signing, simply because we're just Mendy's back now as well. We're just trying new things, and I don't think in general the idea is to change how we play. It's just circumstances have mean that whatever's happened now. What has ever happened now means we have to play slightly different kind of formations. But it'll come back. By 2-3 weeks from now, we'll be playing the football that we're so used to. But I'm going to have a drink anyway, 1 second. Callum there, 78-10. Is Diaz a forward or a midfield? Well, Brahim Diaz's preferred position is actually as a number 10, but most young attackers want to be a number 10. So he's actually a number 10 by trade, but because he's so good dribbling and so on, he's definitely not a striker, though. He did spend a little bit of time as a striker for the EDS. Thanks for the question, by the way, Callum. You're an absolute hero. He played as a striker there, but he didn't really have the physicality, but he learned a lot of strength in that time as a false 9 kind of thing. But he can play on the left or the right, or as a number 10 kind of behind the strikers. And he's just kind of comfortable anywhere across the front, really. But I think in general, it's good for him to kind of start out wide when he does play. When he does play for the U team. Muric hasn't been here long enough for the A-list. He's been here for a year and a half, so that's not actually true, I don't think, with Muric. I think you don't have to be there for more than 2 trained years. I might be wrong for that, but I swear he's only been here for a year and a half. Let me just double check that. Muric hasn't been at Manchester City for long as you think. Yeah, he joined in 2017, so Muric is not long enough here at all for the A-list. That ain't true, my boy. You have to be over here for 2 consecutive seasons, I think. So yeah, this is only his second... full season, is it? Something like that. But either way, he's not been here long enough at all. Right, Lewis said, do you think Mahrez is having the start of a season as Bernardo did last season? Yeah, Mahrez is just trying to, in my opinion, learn how to be a Manchester City player under Guardiola. It's not about being a Premier League player, it's about learning Pep Guardiola's demands. And Pep, it's like learning quantum physics with Pep. Sometimes you have to start again what you know about football. Loads of the greatest footballers like Philip Lahm and Xabi Alonso said it's like a masterclass of football where you're taking so much information and you learn how to be... how to be basically a footballer again in a different kind of system. So I think he's just trying to learn that, and eventually after it settles in, he learns where to be and when to be, depending on the transition, the shape of the attacking play or the defensive play. That's when his natural game will start to come out. But I think at the moment he's just kind of caught between a few minds. So don't worry about Mahrez. It takes a while for any wide player in particular to settle into a Guardiola kind of system, and it happened for Sane, it happened for Bernardo Silva, it just happens for wide players. It's very, very hard, so don't worry about it. It will be all right. A few more comments there. All we need is a good centre midfield. Craig, it would be nice, wouldn't it? I do agree, pal. In general, we're looking for a good centre midfielder, and Frenkie De Jong could be that backup for Fernandinho, of course. Muric joined 2016 season, yeah, but has he played 2 consecutive seasons in Manchester City? No, he signed a 3-year contract in 2017, didn't he? I'm pretty certain he did. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'll give it a Google. I'm pretty certain. When did he sign? But either way, he's a fantastic player. That's what we all agree. So let's have a look. When did he sign for Manchester City? I'm just doing a little bit. I swear he's only been here for about a year and a half or something like that. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm not really asking if I'm wrong. But it feels like he hasn't been around forever at Manchester City. So let's have a look. When did he sign for City? Oh, no, he's his class, by the way. 2016. Yeah, I apologise. Is that enough to be on the A-list? I don't really know. But either way, he's a number 2, and there must be a reason why he's not on it. Who really cares in the big deal of things? If I'm wrong, I don't really mind. Apologies if so. But all I know is Muric is definitely better than Grimshaw, in my personal opinion. And do I think City will reach the Champions League final? As I said in the other live stream the other day, I think Hulk Buster Names, which is a great name, by the way, I think City have a good a chance as anyone. But I think to get to Champions League final, you need a little bit of luck. I think Liverpool got that luck against us. I think Real Madrid over the years have got a lot of dodgy decisions go their way. And City at the moment don't tend to get that luck.
I don't know why, we just don't tend to get the luck, which is a bit of a shame. If we do get it, we definitely have the quality of players to get there. We definitely have the quality players to challenge the status quo. And I think under Guardiola, we'll get very, very close. I do believe if we got past Liverpool, we would have been there in the Champions League final. And who knows, you might have even won it. Because in my personal opinion, Real weren't that good in that Champions League final. I think it was a pretty poor quality one, apart from a couple of wonder strikes. Well, I say wonder strikes. Bale's wonder strike. So who knows? We could get there. It's a very tough competition to win. Personally, I think you just have to have a little bit of luck, and that's what. If you get that, who knows? We could go that far. It's not always the best team that wins the Champions League. Sometimes it's the team who just gets a bit of luck and is good in cup competitions. But some teams are built for the long stretch. Some teams are built for the here and now. Who knows? We do have very bad luck with referees. I agree, Vardan. It's very, very difficult, isn't it? Some man there saying the Champions League is ours this season. That's very, very, very positive. DY Gaming saying Mason Mount has now played 550 minutes of the Championship this season. Foden has played for a total of 435 minutes total. He needs a loan to literally get to game time. Mason Mount he's got plenty of game time down there. Isn't he a little bit older, Mason Mount? Yeah, he's a year older, so that does make a difference. And also, he's playing at a lower level. I'm sure he's a little bit more physically ready than Foden as well, so in general, we'll be all right. If he doesn't get game time several months from now, I agree. I'm very critical about City's youth integration in general, personally, because I do believe that young players need game times. But I'm willing to give. I thought last season Foden got enough time because he was a very small, very physically unready 17-year-old, and the fact that he was even involved in the first team squad is more than enough. Trust me on that. He had more minutes. This is a fact for you than Messi did in his first season as a 17-year-old. So Foden had more minutes than Messi did, despite Messi playing B team football and C team football every now and then. So in general, I wouldn't worry too much about Foden's minutes yet. But if a few months down the line he hasn't played any game time, I will give you that one. But in general, I think what he got last season was enough personally. Now he needs to build on it this season. But we're 4 games in, so we don't know if he's going to build on it yet. The winter months will come. There'll be loads of games. Players will get injured. Players will need rest. It will happen. Just trust in it a little bit. I'm just asking thoughts on the Nations League. It's a load of rubbish. It's just a bunch of friendlies. It's not an important competition. It's friendlies. It's like the International Cup, the pre-season friendly stuff. It's just that, but with a fancy name to make it glamorous, in my personal opinion. No one actually cares about it. It's just a bunch of friendlies. That's all I will say about that. More comments there. Would you rather win the Champions League? This is from Cameron, at the cost of losing the league, or win the league at the cost of the Champions League? This season, it's really hard because it's like, I don't think football's that simple. I don't mind winning the Champions League as long as we're close in the Premier League, but I don't want to win the Champions League and absolutely bottle the Premier League. I wouldn't like to finish like 5th or 6th or whatever. But if you put in a good challenge for the Premier League and then won the Champions League, I'd be pretty happy. And obviously we haven't won the Champions League yet, so that would be nice. But honestly, I'm happy with either. Premier League back-to-back is just a bigger claim as well. And if anything, I think through the years, we've seen as a better team if we win the Premier League back-to-back in the current era, as opposed to winning the Champions League, Premier League, on and off or whatever. I actually think that'll give us a better, stronger claim, locally at least, to be an all-time great English team. So I'd rather, maybe that. There's good arguments for either way. Did I see Foden's performance for England the other night? This is from Gregory. He got a goal and 2 assists. I didn't, but I heard he played well. I hope I'm wrong about injuries too, but I'm realistic. I think our luck from last season, I say luck, we didn't have too many injuries to the most important players last season. Like I said, De Bruyne, so I'm got off relatively lightly. Fingers crossed that doesn't happen this season, but it's already happened to De Bruyne, and we probably are due an injury or two. It'll be irrelevant. Fingers crossed it doesn't happen. Our focus is still the league, though, and it always should be. I agree there. That's sad. Football.com said, could Sane become the best in the world? He definitely has that potential. Obviously, it depends what's going up there. I want to talk about Sane for a minute. I was just reading the Cruz quotes again in general. I don't mind the Cruz. He's got every right to criticise a pro, but to me, the idea of just kind of like throwing Sane under the bus a little bit after how bad they were in general during the World Cup felt a little bit strange to me. It's like, obviously, you might not have meant it that way, but any intelligent senior footballer should know. The second he tells something like that about a young player with that much potential, it's got to be back page news, and all the focus went on Sane. So personally, everyone's a bit cowardly. Like, you basically have just deflected all the attention onto Sane to kind of save yourself a little bit. I didn't really like that. I mean, I understand maybe why he's done it, but it strikes to me as that the German camp at the moment is a little bit like pointing fingers, and it felt like Sane, it's got like, what's the point in that personally? Like, why? I don't think in general it helps Sane. If anything, it just makes him feel a little bit like, what's the point? But anyway,
Paris, he definitely didn't sign in 2015. He just 100% didn't sign in 2015. That's the City website often puts his pictures of players wrong, so I'm not having that. I think he signed in 2016. I do agree, but I don't think Milovic is signed for Manchester City in 2015 at all. That's just not true. Because that's when I started watching academy football, and he was not at the club then at all. So that's just not true. He might have made the contract sign, but he didn't sign until summer 2016. Because I was watching the games then, he wasn't at the club then. So my first academy game was 2015 January, and he was not around then. He joined the summer after that. So I'm just not having that personally. I think the website's actually got it wrong, and the website do get things wrong, and they get it oftenly wrong. So that's my personal experience there. I've seen players and stats just of the different names under different pictures and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not having that personally. Will I change the name of the channel? I don't know, Brand. Probably not really, because it's kind of stuck now, isn't it? I don't really like the name of my channel, if you want me honest, but it's just kind of there and it's stuck. So Simon said, thank you very much. Simon said he enjoys the videos. Thank you very much, mate. It's really appreciated. But Brand, yeah, I'll probably keep the name in general because, you know, it's become part of who I am. It's a kind of pun from ages ago, but I don't really like it, but it's kind of stuck. Paris, I know it's what the official Man City website says, but I actually think it's wrong. And I know it's wrong because I was watching the games and he wasn't there. So, yeah, that's just my personal take on that. The website isn't always right, is what I'm saying. Trust me. I know I've been a City fan for a long time and the website gets it wrong often. But anyway, let's move on to the Milovic thing. It doesn't really matter. Either way, he's not on the B list, the A list for a reason. And it's not because Grimshaw is better than him. It's because Grimshaw most likely, obviously, suits a club-trained thing and never homegrown. It's homegrown and it's club-trained. It's two different ones. It's pedantics anyway, but he definitely didn't join in 2015. I just know that as a fact. Esteemed Mangala, that wouldn't catch on, I don't think. Esteemed Stones. Well, the point is, it's not about the Esteemed name bit. It's about, basically, the name of the channel is, I started a blog like 7-8 years ago. And if you ever heard of the saying, there's an English saying in general where it's like, if you're talking about someone who's surrounded by great people, they're in esteemed company. Like, you say, John over there, he's in esteemed company, like company with a C. It means they're surrounded by great people. And obviously, if it's a company, it's spelled with a K, and it was a pun. The pun was esteemed company, and that was it. So basically, I did a Manchester City pun. So it's kind of stuck. And it's not a football Twitter thing at all. It's just a bit, it's just a shit name, really. It's a shit pun, so it's kind of stuck around. So I'll probably just keep it. It's not about it being like a defender or anything like that. It's just what it is. Does the website always get it right? It just definitely doesn't always get it right. I know, because I've corrected lots of mistakes in there. That's true. Gundogan is good. He's playing well. That's fair enough, Vardan. Yeah, he's a decent player. I think we kind of get spoiled a little bit on Bernardo Silva, De Bruyne, and David Silva, and don't realise Gundogan is better than we actually realise sometimes. It's so easy to think he's just some naff midfielder, but it's just because they are so good. Gundogan still walks in 75% of the teams in the Premier League, in my personal opinion. He can be a little bit, kind of sketchy every now and then, but we have been spoiled by two of the greatest ever Premier League midfielders, in my personal opinion. So it's kind of going to seem like a drop-off when you're not De Bruyne or when you're not Silva, but that's so hard to play, to find someone like that in general. I'm going to go back to the points now of the video before I start to wrap this up. Frenkie De Jong, we could be signing him. Obviously, we've got a bit of battle on our hands there for Barcelona, PSG, Dortmund, Spurs want him. He'd be my perfect signing for number 6 potentially, but I'm not sure if it's going to happen. Obviously, as well, scrolling across the bottom, Brahim might not sign a new contract to Manchester City because he doesn't feel like he could get some game time. I hope he does sign at Manchester City. I hope he does stay a little bit longer, but I would not blame him at the same time seeking potential first team football. Given his career, he needs games. If you can't get on the squad, never mind the bench. If you can't get in the 18, like the 19, the one that sits on the bench in case someone gets injured. Sorry, the one that sits in the stands in case someone gets injured. You can't even get into that. Then in general, it's very, very difficult. So I wouldn't blame Brahim in general for going. And that's not a bad shout for the channel there. Steve McInerney, MCFC. Maybe not. But I'll probably just keep Esteemed Kompany because Kompany will be around for a while. And on to Gavin Bazunu, the young keeper we signed from Shamrock Rovers for £420,000. I don't know much about him. I just know he's been playing in the Europa League for Shamrock Rovers. And in general, he's meant to be really good. So we'll see in general. But anyway, guys, I'm going to start to wrap it up there because I'm going on holiday tomorrow. I'm going to Amsterdam. Yeah. I'm going to Amsterdam with Nicola. It's going to be fun. So there'll be no videos for the next few days because I want to take a bit of a break, enjoy my holiday, have fun with Nicola, and I'll be back on like Tuesday, I reckon. So, guys, this is the last stream. As Nicola's saying, it's my birthday on Monday. I'm going to be dead old. So, everyone, thank you very much for saying happy birthday in advance. Nicola's starting a little agenda. Thank you very, very much. And when I stream again, it'll probably be Tuesday or Wednesday, something like that, I reckon. But yeah, I'm going to take a weekend away now on holiday in Amsterdam. Enjoy it. And I hope you all have a great weekend as well. Every single one who's watching. Honestly, thank you loads for watching these streams. I'm still not used to doing them. It's a bit all over the place. But it's good fun, though. I do genuinely enjoy it. But I'm going to enjoy Amsterdam even more. So I'm going to enjoy that loads. Thank you very much for being a lovely bunch of people. Thank you for all the questions. Sorry if I've missed your questions. Don't forget, if you are new, click that subscribe button there. It'd be really, really appreciated. Don't forget to drop this video a like, share it around with your friends, tell other City fans to go and subscribe to my channel, all that kind of stuff. And I will see you, when is it? Probably Tuesday or Wednesday. Right, guys, I'm going to stop streaming in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. In a bit. Might not even stop by now.